So you would ask the question, what are the effects on Austria we expect from something like Hinkley Point? And I can tell you that there is still nowadays, 30 years after the accident at Chernobyl, we have still in some regions in Austria wild boar. We measure cesium-137 up to some 1,000 becquerels per kilogram. So we have been hit by an accident that has been more than 1,000 kilometers away from Austria. So that's why we engage in anti-nuclear work through whole Europe. So I'll give you a short introduction about the history of our engagement in Hinkley Point C. Well, it started back in 2013, in March. I remember there was the draft version of the update of the Commission for Energy Subsidies as in the European Union. And I flicked through the pages and they told about technology, neutral approaches and so on and so on. And then on some page I read the word nuclear as an option for an advancing technology, for a technology that might tackle the problems of a CO2, of a carbon-free energy future. As well, and I've been alarmed, and I phoned all my colleagues in the ministry and told them we have to do something. And we wrote a statement to the Commission saying that we don't think that nuclear is exactly the new thing, and we don't think that nuclear is really to be dealt with in a paper about renewable energies. And then we waited, and in October 2013, we could celebrate an event. The paper was published, and there was no nuclear in it. But it only took 3 months, and in December of the same year, Britain brought in to the Commission the plan for subsidies for Hinkley Point C. And so we wrote a statement again to the Commission, repeating all the arguments we've done before. And in March of 2014, the Commission started investigation and wrote a letter about the project. And it was really a negative statement about the whole thing, subsidies for Hinkley Point C, and we thought it will be fine. But in October 2014, the leaving Commission made its last decision that subsidies for Hinkley Point C are okay with European law. And then it took them half a year to publish their decision. And the decision was everything is okay. And well, we thoroughly went into this document, and it was so ridiculous to see what they stated. They, on the one hand, they argued with a market for nuclear energy, and there is no such thing as a market for nuclear energy in Europe. There's a market for electricity. And on the other hand, they tried to convince us that nuclear energy is a new technology. Of course, DPR is a new reactor. We see him not working in Finland, we see the project not working in France, so it has to be something new, but it is not a new technology. It would mean you make subsidies for the car industry because they're building in airbags. It's a new car, it's something new. Is it definitely not. And that's why only a fortnight after the decision of the Commission, the Austrian National Assembly urged the federal government in Austria to take legal action against these subsidies. And so last year in summer, we launched the court case, which can be found on the webpage of the Commission, where you see the main points of our legal action against the subsidies. I have to emphasize at this point, because it's often in the media, it's Austria challenging the UK, it's Austria challenging Hinkley Point. Well, it's legal action of the Republic of Austria against the European Commission in its decision on the subsidies on Hinkley Point C. And why is it so important for us, these commercial issues? Because we're surrounded by countries as the Czech Republic, as Hungary, which are waiting for the final decision of the European Court, because they want to do the same thing in Britain is done, because they have realized a new nuclear plant is nothing what is economical, feasible for a company. It's a sheer nightmare. Even EDF, big French player, can't afford to bring up the money for Hinkley Point C. They need Chinese, they need guarantees from the state. They need subsidies for all time the nuclear power plant is running. And so there is this irrationality in some politicians to think that nuclear is essential to keep the lights on. But we've heard in the last presentation, Japan shut it down, all its nuclear power plants at once, and there was not much of a problem. Germany has shut down, after the event of Fukushima, 8 plants at once, and they had no problem. And now you would ask, why is it this way? Because it is this way because renewable energies are advancing. We're building year by year new capacities in solar, in wind, in biomass. But up to now, we failed to a large extent to shut down the nuclear and the fossil plants in the same way. So we have overcapacities. We see the price for electricity going down because you're adding capacity and you can't shut down some kind of plants. You can't shut down nuclear power plants. They from time to time shut down themselves, and you have to manage, well, a gigawatt going off the grid, and you have to keep the grid alive under such conditions. So we see that nuclear power is a stone in our way to a real sustainable future, which is decentralized, and these huge blocks of energy do not fit into this picture anymore. What we see is the struggle of a dying industry for the prolongation of their profits for some years. Thank you.